What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Blue Skidoo, weekend 2. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome into another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It is the Cowabunga Boys under the sea because Dylan, before we start recording, took a nosedive into a glass of water.
I did. I spilled most of my water onto my desktop, so I was cleaning that.
We got a lot to dive into. Obviously, She-Hulk has come to an end, but that doesn't mean we're done talking Marvel. We got the news and notes. Dylan has started Werewolf by Night and is enjoying all of it. We're going to get his initial thoughts on the Halloween special. It is still spooky season, of course. But we got House of the Dragon. We got Dem Dragons to talk about. We got Andor Episode 7 to talk about. And I might have met a celebrity this week. So we're going to talk about all that in the multiverse news and notes. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter, Instagram. Follow Dylan on Twitter at Dylan Mazzola. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Once we get to 200 followers on StreamerSZN's Twitter, Dylan will put the podcast in his Twitter bio. So get us there. We're 30 away, Dylan. 30 away. That's so easy to do.
Very nice. Very nice.
And make sure you guys check out the website, undergroundsportsphiladelphia.com. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. And Dylan, what should these hooligans be doing?
These hooligans should be leaving in the midst of their reviews and comments and subscriptions and likes across all the platforms. They should be leaving us recommendations on what to watch, what to binge. Kyle and I, we lost this show. Unfortunately, it's done for right now. We're getting close. House of Dragons has this episode with you guys next week, and that's done. Andor is not too far as well from being donezo. It's getting there. That's what happens when you get 3 episodes in the first go around. You know?
Luckily, it's a 12-episode season.
That's true. I knew it was double digit. I just didn't know if it was 10 or 12. But nonetheless, we're still over the hump for that one. So the point is, there's going to be some room for you guys to recommend more things. We literally only have 2 episodes left of Dragons.
I did get a recommendation for next week, Dylan.
Hey, yo, what is it?
Because I get a nice little birthday gift next week. The old man is creeping up on old man status, but the day before my birthday, Big Mouth Season 6 comes out on Netflix. Everyone wants us to talk about the Horny Boys.
You're a big fan of that show, so that's good.
I'm a big Mouth guy.
I need to get more on track with that one.
Yeah, it is quite hilarious. I'm a big fan of Nick Kroll, and he is definitely one of the white whales for this podcast, in my opinion, because he is just so fucking funny. But we'll have Big Mouth to potentially talk about, and a whole lot more. But you got to leave those recommendations in the podcast reviews and in the YouTube comment section. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. You get full video episodes of all your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia podcasts in full video form. Like, who doesn't want to look at Dylan and I's stunning bearded faces? Subscribe. Just search Underground Sports Philadelphia on YouTube. Subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. Smash the like button. Ring the bell icon. Comment with your TV and show recommendations. Comment with your thoughts on House of the Dragon Episode 9, Andor Episode 7, Werewolf by Night, and anything we talk about in the news and notes section as well. Leave it in the comment section on YouTube. We read the comments. good or bad. We'll read the good ones on the show. The bad ones, we're not gonna acknowledge them on the show. But make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on that road to 1K Gauntlet Challenge. Still 256 subscribers now, as we are on that road to 1K. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. And we're going to switch up how we do the sponsors a little bit. Each segment's going to be sponsored this week. And Dylan, our House of the Dragon segment is going to be brought to you by a brand new partner of ours. Brand new partner. I got to let the people know. Merch is back. Merch is back. Streamer Season is brought to you in part by PHI Apparel Company. PHI Apparel Co. provides unique designs and high-quality clothing for the great fans of Philadelphia and the streaming platform Multiverse. With their original designs for all, there's no doubt you'll stand out in the crowd. You guys can use the code UNDERGROUND. Just like Underground is the code at checkout for 10% off any apparel when you shop online at phiapparel.co. That's phiapparel.co, not .com, .co. And you get 10% off when you use code Underground. Right now, it's a bunch of Philly sports stuff, which I know there's a lot of crossover from, obviously, our network and our main show there for our listeners. But Streamer Season Apparel is coming to the store. It'll be in its own little section on PHI Apparel Co. Very excited to partner up with them. Been in contact with them for the last couple of weeks, and we're going to have anything Dylan and I can think of merch-wise for Streamer Season. It's going to be on the store. They got shirts, hoodies. I saw some polos that they've done, some hats. Like, we're going to have some kick-ass merch, and I'm super excited to be working with PHI Apparel Co. and then be our official merch provider. So go to phiapparel.co/shop and use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your order.
Dude, electric. I can't wait to get
I'm stoked, man. You and I are going to conjure some things up specifically for this podcast, I'm sure, that are going to like blow people's minds.
I already have a couple ideas.
There we go. See? There we go. Let's get into it, Dylan. Dem Dragons, House of the Dragon, Episode 9, The Green Council. Man. Things are about to pop off, y'all. And The Green Council, it's the 9th and penultimate episode. It is wild to me. Before we even dive into the episode, it's the penultimate episode, which is obviously a big-time vocab word for us TV people.
Yeah.
Why is it that penultimate is such a cooler word than finale? I was thinking about that this week when I was like watching the after show that they do on House of the Dragon, and they were talking about penultimate. I was like, why is penultimate such a cooler like branding for an episode than finale?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think it should be like more wide stream like used. I think every show should utilize that word rather than finale when they're marketing.
It's wild. So this is the penultimate episode. It's written by Sarah Hess, who earlier this week signed on for an extension with HBO. She will be part of writing season 2 of House of the Dragon.
Episode. This is the finale.
This was episode 9. 10 is the finale.
Okay, I'm a little tired, folks.
But the episode before the finale is always regarded as the penultimate episode, and that's just such a cooler word then.
No, I get that. It's just the way you said something after that, my brain was like, wait a second.
But Sarah Hess signed on for season 2 with HBO, so she'll be writing episodes for season 2 of House of the Dragon. She wrote episodes 4, 5, and 9, I believe. So she wrote this episode, obviously, and it was directed by Claire Kilner. So after King Viserys' death, Queen Alicent Hightower tells her father, Sir Otto Hightower, that scumbag, that shady rat, the Hand of the King, that Viserys' dying wish, which she misinterpreted, was that their son, Prince Aegon, succeed him rather than his daughter and chosen heir, Princess Rhaenyra. Otto delays publicly announcing the king's death and convenes a small emergency, small council meeting. Alicent, Sir Harold Westerling, and Lord Lyman Beesbury are stunned that Otto and some council members have secretly plotted to crown Aegon king. When Beesbury protests Rhaenyra being usurped, the biggest rat and scumbag of them all, Sir Criston Cole, slams his head into the speaking ball and gouges his eye out, and he bleeds to death.
Many episodes ago when I was like, he's a cool character. Obviously, that is no more. He is a scumbag.
He is the worst. Like, when it's all said and done for season 1, he might be the most scummy of all the characters we get.
Dude, I said it before. Bro got one night of Targussy, and he's changed.
That is hilarious. Oh, man. Otto wants Rhaenyra killed to secure Aegon's succession, but Alicent adamantly refuses, stating Viserys would never have harmed his daughter. Sir Harold defies Otto's command to assassinate Rhaenyra, Daemon, and their children, resigning as Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. Sir Criston later replaces him. Upon discovering Aegon has left the Red Keep, Otto and Alicent separately race to find and influence him. Otto sends Kingsguard knights and brothers Sir Eric, Erryk, and Sir Auric.
Respect to the bald man for taking off his cloak and being like, nah, bro.
So Otto sends Eric and Auric Cargill to search the city, while Criston and Prince Aemond assist Alicent, despite Aemond's declared desire to rule. In Flea Bottom, Eric and Auric search a combat arena that Aegon frequents, where children, including Aegon's own bastard offspring, are forced to fight to the death as entertainment. It is basically child cockfighting.
Yeah, out and openly say it. Kyle made a great point off camera, and he said, "Did you catch that?" Yes, they literally panned to a little blonde-haired kid. It looks like Aegon sitting in like a dungeon type thing, awaiting to be thrown into the cockfighting ring, amongst other things. So without saying, they indirectly tell you that he makes little babies, bastard children, and then forces them to fight in a underground child cockfighting ring. So,
and like they were
not exactly someone you want to rule. And I don't blame him when he says he's not fit to rule. I was like, yeah, you're not.
Sharpening their teeth and their nails, and like they're like biting each other. I was like, ugh. I felt like I shouldn't have been watching that. It was so gross. I was like, we're like 1 degree of separation from some real like fucked up shit that in the real world people get arrested for watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and grossly enough, they throw another scene later on that makes you also equally uncomfortable. But we'll get to that later.
But hey, in that side of things, we don't kink shame. Whatever floats your boat. It may not float Dylan and I's boat, but we don't kink shame.
We're referring to the later scene, obviously.
Yes, not this. This we will shame the fuck out of you for. Cue the Game of Thrones. Shame. Did you see, speaking of that, before we continue, did you see they recreated that on Abbott Elementary?
No, that's
they did the shame scene. I'll have to send you the clip. It's so funny. They have the janitor with like just his keys, and he's just walking. Shame.
That's awesome.
So an intermediary informs the Cargills that Mysaria, Daemon's former mistress, the White Worm, has Aegon and wishes to meet with Otto. Mysaria barters with Otto for him to end the child fighting pits in exchange for revealing Aegon's whereabouts. And I thought the way that they portrayed that whole scene was really well done. It showed you like the power that she had over him, and it's like, hey, I could have easily ended this and I could have killed Homeboy, but I kept him alive, and I'm going to use him as a bartering chip to get this shit in the city out of here because it's absolutely disgusting what's going on. There's people that I've seen who have like read the book on Twitter saying that like the White Worm is going to be a real key player on the chessboard moving forward.
Yeah, because she's interconnected, and it's kind of like because they mentioned and talked about spies and stuff. And people, and then they go and show her, and she very much has spies of her own because she's very well connected in the city being her line of occupation. Or ex occupation. I'm not sure if she's still technically doing that. You know what I mean? We don't know, but nonetheless, she has connections. So definitely, I agree with that. You don't watch the OG Game of Thrones, but that's happened before. I'm gonna say this term, and I'm not shaming. It's literally what they're called in the shows, folks. So don't try to cut me. But there are whores in the other show that gain power through confidentiality because they learn things and they use that to their advantage, and they actually like rise in the ranks. So it's actually pretty cool, and I like that. And it kind of gives you like the working class woman, like working class person, citizen feel, because she says the line like, the people only allow you to gain power from what you take from us, or something along the lines of that, which is a cool line because it's her saying your point. Like, you know, I could have killed him, and I can't, and I could have let you not do this, but I'm agreeing to let you do this.
100%. And then the Cargills find Aegon in the Grand Sept, in that where we saw, I think it was episode 2, where we saw Rhaenyra and Alicent like praying to the mother. He's underneath, but Kristen and Aemon seize him by defeating Auric, and Eric withdraws. With Aegon back in her possession, Alicent mandates to Otto that Rhaenyra and Daemon be spared if they bend the knee and agree to exile.
Well, the one twin didn't even, sorry to cut you off.
Good.
Stood there and watched, and Kyle and I talked about that. I think that was good symbolism because I guarantee you, I haven't read the books, but if you Googled it, I guarantee you the one twin's going to be Team Black and the one's going to be Team Green, because later in the episode, that one twin, there you go, Jesus, helped the princess escape. Well, I can't even say escape, but nonetheless, aided the princess, and the other one was the one fighting Sir Kristen. So it's pretty interesting, right? The one that stood up top, that was one of
the one that escaped is the one, I forget what episode it was, but he's the one that Alicent called the wrong name, and it like rubbed him the wrong way, and he was like pissed off, and then that's why he like hasn't been watching over Aegon at all.
So the one that was on top of the stairs, that's the one that left the princess out, right? Or the one that was fighting? I can't tell because they're twins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know the one that escaped. He's the one that Alicent talked to a couple episodes ago and called him by the wrong name, and then he was pissed off at her ever since. So he's like done with her and like is not going to do anything for her anymore.
It's their fault for having twins. Nonetheless, you get what I'm saying, folks. They're going to be a house divided.
100%. Otto coerces most nobles loyal to Rhaenyra into swearing fealty to Aegon, and a handful refuse and are imprisoned by Lord Caswell, who is publicly hanged. And Lord Larys Strong informs Alicent about the spy network within the Red Keep that includes Talia, Alicent's lady-in-waiting. Alicent permits Larys to eliminate the network's leader. Mysaria's house is burned shortly after, and Princess Rhaenys Targaryen refuses Alicent's request to support Aegon and is kept locked in her room. However, Eric, now siding with Rhaenys, frees her. And at the Dragon Pit, Otto announces Viserys' death, and Aegon is crowned king before the city's cheering citizens. He's also got the crown that's not Viserys' crown, but it is, I want to say, Aegon the Conqueror, I want to say. Yeah, it's the Iron Crown. Rhaenys, caught up in the crowds that were herded into the Dragon Pit to witness the coronation, slips away to the lower caverns, and riding her dragon Meleys, Rhaenys breaches the Grand Hall from below, causing pandemonium and destruction. Amid the panicked crowd, Rhaenys confronts the cowering royal usurpers, who expect to be burned alive. Instead, Rhaenys spares them and flees to King's Landing on Dragonback. And I need to get a clip of that happening and put over the Armani Blanco song, the Billie Eilish song. Bitch, I'm stylish. Glock tuck, big t-shirt, Billie Eilish. And then that's when the dragon bursts through.
I think I speak for most people. Firstly, what a woman. And secondly, she might need a husband soon, so I volunteer. Thirdly, on all seriousness, what what an awesome, because her character is kind of teeter-tottered.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. She's gone through a lot. Like, she had a claim to the throne. She gets rejected because, of the time period, and a woman in power was seen to most men as, kind of whack, which is wrong, obviously. But is what it is. It happens. And then, like, her whole family pretty much dies, and then now her cousin dies, and she's stuck in this awkward, like, do I side with you? Do I side with you? But she made it very clear who she sided with when she fucking killed several hundred random King's Landing civilians, and she was like, well, I'm going to go take my dragon to my other relatives' dragons, and we're about to F you up.
That was the ultimate, oh, don't do it. Oh, my God.
It's important, too. Exactly. It's important, too, because King's Landing, they don't have that many dragons.
Yeah. And I think it's important, like, she didn't kill them. A lot of people were like, oh, the ending, like, killed the episode. But no. She didn't kill them, because if she killed them, everything would be happy-go-lucky, and we wouldn't have a war.
I was going to say, if she kills them, we don't have the show, like, ends.
Yeah. It's just over with there.
There's no show. It's the not the old saying. It's the saying plot armor. Like that that is good and bad. In terms of this, you needed that, because if she did that, then Rhaenyra becomes the queen with no contention, and then what, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we don't get Jon Snow because history changes, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, yeah, it is what it is, folks.
Alicent's daughter. This is like the 4th time she's predicted something over the course of, the time jump episodes. She said, beware the beast beneath the boards. Bang. Hello. How we doing? She's totally a dreamer, right?
She definitely has some kind of vision. She's an interesting character. I'm very intrigued. I like what they're going with her. Like, they're trying to make her seem, well, she is different. But in a good way. And it just seems like she definitely might have some type of vision or be able to predict the future. She's just an oddball, but like a good kind of oddball, It's interesting to watch her, like, interactions and scenes, because she doesn't really talk much. She says, like, I feel like a sentence or two, and you don't see her for like an episode.
She kind of reminds me in a adjacent way to Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter.
Yes, the lovable, like, I say it lightly, like, lovable, like, weirdo.
Like, soft-spoken, like, but very intelligent, and that's kind of the vibe she gives me. We did.
As in with the later news, I see what you're doing there.
Aha. Also, in this episode, we find out that Firefly Homeboy has a foot fetish.
Oh, my Lord. That's what we were talking about earlier, and I do not understand. I'm not going to shame you. If you like the feetsies, that's on you. But boy, oh boy, that is not for me. Woo!
It was like, it was weird at first, because you see, like,
the worst part is, I knew exactly what was happening, because he just looked at her and stopped talking, and I'm like, this sicko.
I kid you not. When they cut to, like, him being, like, out of focus, and her feet are up on the table, I had to pause the episode and was like, I know he ain't doing what I think he's doing.
And then they showed him doing something else, and I was like, oh, my Lord.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it shows her face is turned. I mean, this is implying
she hates it.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
Because she knows exactly where to sit and turn and not look at this fucking creep. So, like, that's the part that really just drove it home. I was like,
he's gross. And it's clearly obvious why he has a foot fetish. He has the clubbed foot.
I think that's a little too on the foot or on the nose.
Oh. Yeah, that was a wild scene there.
I gotta watch myself. He might kill me.
I think either next week or the week after we will rank our most, like, scenes from House of the Dragon.
Two out of my top 5 are in this episode alone.
Yeah, that, I think, Daemon slicing Homeboy's head in half. The eyeball crushing, which we, in the look ahead, do you watch
the nervous fart guy?
The nervous fart guy, and then nutsack. I forget. I know.
Oddly enough, incest won't make a top 5. That's how gross the show is.
Do you watch the next time on?
I used to, but I don't because I do this thing now where with movies or anime.
You try to stay spoiler free.
Yes, sir. I try to stay blind because Kyle.
Well, it's funny you use that term there because it's what I'm going to bring up here because it does get teased in the opening credit sequence.
Yeah.
But when our eye patched friend, they reveal what his eye is. He's got a sapphire eye. I'm so excited to see that.
Yo, this guy always I saw a meme. It was handsome Squidward.
Yes.
And it was he's always standing there like this. Handsome Squidward. He's always so menacing. It's always standing there menacingly.
His cheek muscles and jawline are just so defined.
He looks like the character. He looks like he could play the character. I think has brown hair. But what's it? Metal Gear Solid Snake. That's what
yes.
He just needs darker hair. He just looks so. He looks like a man's man. I don't want to
cast him in the Super Smash Brothers cinematic universe for Solid Snake.
Point is that's the one person in that family. If they're yo, I got beef with you. I'm I don't want it, bro.
I'll say this with his character, and we're talking about Amond here.
Yeah,
he's kind of growing on me, Dylan.
He's kind of growing on me because he was picked on. Although,
I know he's a dirtball, and he's a total and I think I speak for both of us. We're both Team Blacks. In this instance, I don't think we're part of the Greens here on this podcast. But if there was somebody that I was gonna be even though he's a shithead, he's kind of cool now. I think it might be Amond.
He's Amon and Damon. They're the same person.
Yeah.
I will say I'll give Allison some credit.
She's definitely turned a corner.
She's trying to keep peace as much as she can. A bloodshed rather, not peace. You know what I mean? She's trying. She's the one who approached the princess and was please. She's the one who does not want Rhaenyra dead, which is interesting. And I feel she probably even wouldn't have wanted that bald guy who nervously fled to get hung. That's just kind of who she is. I mean, I think she's always been relatively caring. I just think she can look the other way for a feet fetish boy when he does his weird assassinations and stuff. But Team Green sucks. Most of them are just assholes or weirdos. I mean, the current king is a little prick. He liked those cheers a little too much. But he's already a piece of poop. So we don't know and last time you haven't watched Game of Thrones, but last time we got 2 child rulers and one was a prick and one was entirely too soft spoken and both did not end well. So my prediction or my theory correctly, which it probably will be, it will not go welly for this youngster as well, which is just intriguing. But I do
this is good for us.
Yeah. Team Black
as part of Team Targaryen here, it's good for us.
I'm hoping a couple characters, I'm hoping some characters defect. I'm hoping the one twin brother goes to the right team. I'm hoping the ex-Lord commander goes to the right team. I'm hoping Sir Criston dies soon.
Yes. I hope Daemon fucking mutilates him.
That's when you know a show is good, whether or not you fully appreciate it. Because if you can watch it, and you have characters you root for, but not every show or movie you can say creates this level of I want this guy to fucking die. This character, I'm watching this program to watch someone die. That sounds very messed up, but when you put on the Game of Thrones goggles, it's very logical because they are terrible human beings. They deserve to be expunged from the earth. Yeah,
get them up out. Next, the finale is going to be fucking insane, and I'm excited for that. And it's perfect, Dylan, because obviously you and I being Eagles fans, the Eagles are on a bye, and the Phillies, Game 5 is in the afternoon, so we'll more than likely be able to take in some live House of the Dragon finale, which is very nice. But Dylan, for episode 9 of House of the Dragon,
I'll make it easy for you.
The old Green Council. Giving it
9's a 9.
Wow. Cracking the 9s for Dylan.
I think it's getting there. I mean, you're probably going to be close. You might be a little behind me. Maybe you're the same score. But it's just, I feel like the tension is building, and I really like this plot deposition because, like, we got only Team Green, which is cool because we saw.
I loved that aspect of it too.
We saw,
because exactly. Next week is all Team Black because it's titled The Black Queen.
This episode had everything you need. Like, there was 5 minutes in, you watched some poor old man get his head like caved in because Sir Christian's a wuss. And then you watch people cower. Like, they're not bending the knee because they agree with it, per se. They're afraid. Otto's giving off crazy vibes. It's really interesting to see all of this. And then the ending of the episode, like, with the dragon coming through the floor, like...
I love that we both agree on the ending being good.
Ending is great. I mean, it'd be cool to see her burn people, but... my brain tells me that most of these characters will not live through season 2 anyway. So
yeah. Also, for season 2 and beyond, shout out to the homie Bennett. I was saying this during this episode since it was so Team Green focused. I said, my buddy Ben, I'm going to put a picture of Ben in this episode. I'm going to tag him in this episode. He looks like he could be a Hightower. Like, he looks like Otto Hightower. It's fucking crazy. And I audibly said while I was watching the episode on Monday, I said, Bennett should be a Hightower in House of the Dragon. And then he tweeted it the other day, and I said, I audibly said this when I was watching the episode. And he quote tweeted my tweet and said, give the people what they want at HBO.
Sorry, Ben. I'm Team Black.
So shout out to Bennett. But yeah, I'm going to give this episode an 8.7. I thought it was really solid. I loved the aspect of just getting the singular focus on the Hightower, Team Green.
It's easy to follow for a viewer, but it really gets you into it because you're all right, this is what's going on.
And so much happened, but it was so well scripted that it didn't feel overwhelming.
And it all happened over like a day and a half.
Yeah.
The king died and everything else happened like the same night and then into the next day.
Yeah, so for the quick math at home, a 9 plus an 8.7, that's a 17.7 divided by 2 is 8.85, which in the math in our brains, that rounds up to an 8.9 out of 10. And Dylan, next week, finale, we're going to have our overall rating for House of the Dragon. My first, Dylan, I'm going to make it through an entire season of a Game of Thrones show.
And you very much enjoyed it.
It's been very good.
Yeah, it wasn't dragging you along. It gave good scores.
I see what you did there. It wasn't dragging. So yeah, we have the finale next week, which will be quite the spectacle, to say the least. I'm very excited to see how it all plays out for season 1, and obviously we're going to have, I think, at least 3 more seasons of House of the Dragon, which is very, very exciting, and I just want more Matt Smith as much as possible.
Can't wait, dude. Can't wait. And I think I speak for everyone. Kyle, you'll probably agree. You'll get to see the magic of it. You haven't seen it. For anyone who's watched Game of Thrones, we cannot wait to see like some full-on battles over the whole I'm king, no, I'm king, I'm queen. It's going to be exciting. And I can't wait. I really can't wait. Because this war is going to wipe out all the dragons, people. Because we know the dragons aren't alive a little less than 200 years later, and dragons live longer than people. So if you do the math, we're going to unfortunately see a lot of dragon deaths, but that probably also means many more people deaths.
Yeah. And Dylan, we're at 256 subscribers on YouTube, so if you haven't already, subscribe. I was thinking when we get to 300, you've obviously been in the studio. You're an underground OG, and you know how we like to add things. You see the bookshelf behind me with the Venomized Marvel character collection. We got some cool stuff on the shelves here, and there's another shelf. If you watch the main pod on Wednesday nights with Matt and I, or if anybody's ever in studio, there's another bookshelf to the other side of me that has, some collectibles and stuff from shows you and I have watched. We've got Mandalorian, Funkos, Legos, WandaVision, Funkos as well. I was thinking we get to 300 subscribers on YouTube relatively soon.
Yes. What you going to say?
There is a Funko Pop that, even though I didn't watch Game of Thrones, when the Funko Pop dropped, I have wanted this for a very, very, very long time. Um, and it is from, I want to say, it's from New York Comic Con, I think back in 2016, maybe 2015.
The dragon.
It is the Iron Throne Funko Pop.
That's sick.
So it is just the throne, and you can sit a pop on the Iron Throne.
How much is it?
I'm looking on eBay right now, and it's in like the $30 range.
Okay.
And when it came out, it was like trending in like the $100+ range. So it has significantly dropped, and I'm sure that has to do with how Game of Thrones ended, and a lot of people being like, fuck this show.
Fuck their
But
pops.
I'm thinking maybe get the Iron Throne to add somewhere down here to commemorate, such a triumphant experience for your boy finishing a Game of Thrones property.
Yeah. And you can even incorporate it in, now that you know how much volume, like how much weight that throne holds. You also could incorporate it, like when you get a Funko Pop, you can, like throne them or king them and place them on the throne.
I think that's how we should recognize like our show of the year, which is coming up quick.
Have to find a Funko Pop.
At the end of the year, Dylan and I will obviously go through all the ratings and everything for all the shows overall that we've watched, and we'll crown, show and movie of the year. I think that'll be a fun way where it'll sit behind me, and it's like, oh, that's the show of the year right there for 2022.
I did start watching that show, The Watcher, on Netflix.
I've heard about that.
Not going to be that show. Very
nice.
It's not bad. It's not good. It's you watch it.
And I think now that some of our shows are coming to an end, Dylan and I will start more movies as well here in the cuffing season months, if you will, to give you guys the movie recommendations you need. But from Westeros, we fly on dragon back to a galaxy far, far away, and it is Andor, episode 7. Dylan, I'm really enjoying this show. It's been really, really good. This was our first episode that got real Star Wars nods to, the OG Star Wars properties. We saw some stormtroopers, some clone troopers.
Finally, stormtroopers.
And this episode titled Announcement, and it's brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, Dylan's favorite beverage when he's traveling to a galaxy far, far away. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use that all-new and improved Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. Crack open an ice-cold Kenny when you're watching your favorite shows and movies, your favorite Philly sports teams, or anything in between. So go to kenwoodbeer.com, use that Kenny tracker, see who's got it on tap, and of course you got to be 21 or older to do so, and always drink responsibly. This episode titled Announcement. It was directed by Benjamin Caron, and it was written by Stephen Schiff. So back on Coruscant, Karn starts a new job at the Bureau of Standards, and as the ISB gains more draconian surveillance and punitive authority, Miro is challenged by Blevin for breaking protocol around accessing data about thefts from Imperial installations. She persuades her superiors of her work's value and is assigned oversight of Ferrix. Rael's assistant Clea Marquis meets with Vel on Coruscant and instructs her to find and kill Cassian to prevent him from revealing Rael's identity. Mon Mothma meets Kolma, an old friend and banker, at a dinner party and asks him to help her access family funds. Cassian returns to Ferrix to settle old debts and learns from Bix that the community blames him for the fallout from the corporate security crackdown. The presence of stormtroopers on Ferrix reminds Cassian of how the original Clem, his adopted father and Marva's husband, was murdered by Storm/clone troopers.
That was a good a little Easter egg in itself, like how his name was Clem, and then you'd find out that was the name of the man who was basically his adoptive dad, who, like Kyle said, died for stopping helping the stormtroopers.
Right. And this listed as stormtroopers, but when you go back and watch that scene when they turn around and have their blasters at the ready, they're wearing clone trooper garb.
Yeah, my man saw it. They were wearing clone trooper. They were wearing the episode 3 Clone War.
Yeah. And where we are in the timeline of Star Wars, it's kind of towards the end of the Empire using clones before they started recruiting stormtrooper, volunteers and stuff like that. So it wouldn't shock me if those were still actual clone troopers.
Yeah, still clones, or it could be a mixed group of both, like clones people. But nonetheless, Kyle's right. Most likely clones.
Nonetheless, Tamira Morrison was in those suits.
Yes, at some capacity. Or if he wasn't actively in there, he used to be in there.
Right. Cassian attempts to get Marva to leave Ferrix with him, but she decides to stay and covertly oppose the increased Imperial presence. Cassian travels alone to the tropical tourist paradise of Niamos. Maybe a little Miami inspiration there.
Oh, I was thinking that. I was like, what in the Miami Vice?
Bienvenido a Niamos.
What is this? Like, are we going to see Tony Montana?
Right? Where are the Miami Dolphins? The Niamos Heat. And on a trip to a shop, he is confronted by shore troopers, which I think this is the first time we've ever seen those in Star Wars.
You wouldn't know if you didn't see it. You see them in Rogue One.
Okay.
Which is ironic because his character is in Rogue One. There's a couple callbacks, which is funny because you need to watch that movie so you can understand.
I'm going to watch it after the season is done. Because I don't think I can wait until season 2 to get the build into it.
It's a great movie. Once you watch it, you'll be like, you'll understand.
So he's confronted by shore troopers, which they look super cool. Was a big fan.
Thank you. I wanted to cosplay them, but I don't feel like spending all that money.
1,000 subscribers, everybody. And then a KX unit, which it's confirmed to not be the same one from Rogue One. I did do some research there because I do know about that character from Rogue One, but it's not the same KX unit.
Quick unrelated note: Kyle pertains to us, a Philly sport fan. Andy Dalton just threw a pick 6 that helps our case for the Saints losing. We have the draft pick.
Let's go.
Anyway.
And then Cassian is arrested for perceived minor offenses. But then he gets sentenced to 6 years of imprisonment. So then he and Karn are both imprisoned now. And I don't know about you, Dylan, but that final scene where the thing just keeps widening and widening, and you see all those little cell kind of things.
One of the
big Office Space vibes.
I'm about to break.
So that is episode 7 breakdown there of Andor. I thought this episode was really cool. It was very like it kept you like locked in a lot, and there was a lot to really just like dissect and follow along with, and it was kind of like the come down from the build up now, and we're getting right into the meat of what the plot for season 1 is going to be. And I love the visuals. The scenery was great again for all of these, settings and everything.
Sorry, the Cardinals went for 2. They got it.
And I loved the storytelling in this episode. I thought it was really well done. It was a change of pace from the last couple of episodes we've had, and it's just going to continue to really, unravel and tell Cassian's story to where it's going to get leading into Rogue One.
Yeah. No, it's... I really enjoyed this show too. I think I said it a while back before we started it. I said I'm either gonna like hate this show or like love it because I wasn't expecting anything out of it, and I didn't really watch any of the trailers. The only thing I knew is because you told me that it was practical effects, and then going into it, I was like, that's kind of cool. And then watching it, I really have grown to love the show. Like the effects are awesome, and the plot's awesome, and the character is awesome, and it's just cool seeing like the side or the consequences of one's actions so, I guess, exaggerated because like they rob a military installment, and then we see the Empire treat it like an act of terrorism, which I guess technically it would be in the confines because they're like a government. And it's just crazy to see like all these laws, like how much power the empire can seize, like how much more power they can seize, I guess, and less freedom is given. And you also see how corrupt the empire is because they are harassing him on that Miami Vice planet.
Yeah, I think this episode now is gonna really give you the even more background into Cassian, like his values now that he's gonna be allegedly in prison.
Yeah,
and
I
see
was
where that
thinking
builds
too.
up to.
I was gonna ask you that and ask the viewers. Let us know. Do you think he's actually gonna serve the sentence, or do you think he's gonna bust on out of there, or do you think that girl will come and intervene?
That's a good point too. Also, I don't know if you noticed when Mon Mothma was talking with her homeboy. There's a bunch of different artifacts that he has, in his possession. But there was a certain mask of a certain Jedi in his possession. I want to pull it up so I don't mess up his name.
Oh, the mask of Darth Jar Jar Binks?
No, it is the mask of... Oh, what is his name? It's the Jedi that has... He's like... I don't want to mess it up.
What is his name? Who is his name?
The power of editing.
Kyle's Googling. He's Googling hard. I'm watching football game on the side while he Googles. This be life. It went to halftime. The Saints are cowards. Oh, DeAndre Hopkins has 4 catches. Good for him. I'm trying to figure out who scored these touchdowns because, like, Amazon, shout out to Amazon. It's kind of on brand for us because I'm streaming the game, right? No one has touchdowns, so I'm trying to figure out how this game has so many points.
You know what? I'm going to go to Eric Voss's YouTube breakdown.
While Kyle's looking, I'm just going to talk about how much I love Andor, and honestly, I'm surprised, and I'm going to give it a higher grade. I've been giving it higher grades than I even thought to give it, which is just surprising for me. And also, oh my God, Blankenship's on the Cardinals? When did this happen?
This week.
Okay. Goggles lives again, sports fans. But Andor also lives, which is good. Which is good. I gotta see if Zach Ertz has a touchdown because that'll make me act up.
There it is. I found it. There's the mask of Jedi Master Plo Koon.
Hey, yo.
In his possession, which, Dylan, if you, I will send you a picture of him. You'll know exactly who it is.
Yeah, send me a picture now because I'm already clicked out of the video, so I'll be able to look at it.
Let's do this here. Sending it now. So yeah, there's the mask of Plo Koon in his possession, which is pretty interesting. Nice little Easter egg there.
Hell yeah, boy. I love that. I'm looking at it now. That's sick. I didn't even catch that. See, it's why Kyle and I do the show together, because
bang.
I catch things that he catches and vice versa.
So yeah, I think Andor's just going to continue to get better and better, like it has each and every week. So, Dylan, your Andor episode 7 grade.
All right. So I personally think that episode, I would give it like an 8.1. It's a very solid score, very solid episode. The show's been great. I really can't wait to see where it goes next. It's part of the reason why I'm giving it a little bit lower scores. Like I might even be higher. It's just they are genuinely making me want to. I just can't wait. You know what I mean? Like I'm just, the anticipation's killing me in terms of like what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.3. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really entertaining. I thought the scenery changes were great. The plot was great, and I think it's just the start of it really popping off in these final 5 episodes of season 1. So the quick math at home, that's an 8.2 overall score for Andor episode 7. Now we're gonna flip the lights. And we're going to go to Werewolf by Night, brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades. You guys can go to tomahawkshades.com for the best small batch eyewear in the game. Dylan's got the hoodie on right now. They got hoodies. They got shirts. They got sunglasses, blue light plus glasses, which you should be wearing when you're watching your favorite shows and movies, and everything in between at tomahawkshades.com. And when you go to checkout, use promo code USP for 25% off your order at tomahawkshades.com. That's code USP at tomahawkshades.com for 25% off your order from our friends at Tomahawk Shades. Dylan, you started watching Werewolf by Night. You are a big spooky season guy through and through. What are your initial thoughts so far as you've gotten, the jump start on Werewolf by Night?
First of all, the black and white is kind of like a really awesome statement. Second of all, Jack Russell is a cool character. It's just weird watching. Like, I haven't gotten too far in yet. I started it. I've got like a third of the way. It's just weird seeing Marvel do this kind of thing. Like, I don't feel like it's a Marvel entity. Like, I know canonically in the comics, Jack Russell is very connected. Like, I think he even helps Iron Man and the Avengers and does all kinds of crazy stuff.
Moon Knight's first appearance is Werewolf by Night.
Yeah. It's just really good. I really can't. I mean, if I was graded on what I saw so far, it'd probably be like an 8. I like the sci-fi. I like it's mixed with like a classic horror film, like a Frankenstein or something, like a Hellraiser, like something of that pedigree. But it also obviously kind of plays onto like the new era of horror a little bit as well. I think it mashes, and then also on top of that, you just throw in the fact that it's a Marvel product. Like literally, like this guy is a superhero type thing. I guess I'll call him a superhero because he aligns with the good guys.
It's what Phase 5 is going to be. It's, the monsters and the supernatural side of things really kind of taking the place of superheroes in a lot of stories.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just interesting to me. Like, I like not shading, but like I just like the way it's filmed. That to me, that's the most interesting part. I like black and white films. I've watched quite a few. My dad and I literally, whenever we have the chance, like once or twice a month, we'll sit on and just watch some like old westerns and stuff in black and white, and we enjoy that. So for me, watching a horror film, which Kyle said, I like that anyway, and for it to be in black and white, it really fits the vibe of like an old school horror film, and it's cool because it's not also old school horror films. If you watch them, are cheesy as hell because they're made in the 30s, and obviously, like they were limited. So this is cool to see it pay homage to that, but it doesn't look crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it looks newer.
How far along are you? What's the last thing you saw?
I can check for you right now. My Disney Plus is loading. My phone is not loading. Hold on, people. What do you like about it, Kyle? Why I'm trying to get my...
So I mentioned some of it last week when I gave my review. The black and white element for Marvel is so like distinctly different, and it's so much fun. It allows you to do a lot of things that you wouldn't normally get to do in color, especially with like the blood aspect of things. I like the casting for the entire special is fantastic. And I just like the elements that I think it's going to introduce for the future of Marvel. I think this is going to just spark, like I said last week, I think it's going to let Marvel do more holiday specials. I think it's going to introduce that monster supernatural element into Phase 5 and beyond in the MCU that we've been yearning for, whether it's, a Jack Russell, more stuff with Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Mephisto, who we'll get into later, everybody. The Midnight Suns as a whole. I think it's really going to help push that portion of the Marvel universe along in the MCU.
Okay, so I think there was like a maze, and there was a captured monster. I remember that. And then the monster's name is Ted. I remember that.
Ted, a.k.a. Man-Thing.
And I think that's roughly where I got. And then something... I'm looking now.
I think Man-Thing being introduced is such a big deal, too.
Yeah. And I think Ted kills one of the hunters, and that's around where I was at.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't want to spoil Man-Thing if you hadn't seen him yet, but yeah, Man-Thing is great. And if you go back to Thor Ragnarok, Man-Thing's face is on the building of the champions on Sakaar.
He is one of the champions, my people.
So Werewolf by Night, Dylan will have his rating next week, which is perfect. It'll be Halloween weekend when you give your rating for Werewolf by Night. But I think it's
not by
great.
design, I promise.
It's great. I think it's such a unique piece of content for the MCU, and I hope it sparks more and more holiday specials across the board, just like the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that we'll get later this year. And I hope we just get more Halloween specials with the supernatural and monsters and all the crazy shit, because it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think we want more things out of the ordinary. We want different, and the whole monster Phase 5 genre vibe definitely fits the role.
Yeah. Which, speaking of roles, let's get into everybody's favorite segment.
Yep.
It is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our pals over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, rack up fan points on your profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup marketplace. It's the easiest way to get your NFL, your NBA, your baseball playoffs, NHL, college football, and any other sport you can think of. Playpickup.com is the place to go. So go to playpickup.com, start playing those headlines. Speaking of spooky, horror, supernatural, Dylan, earlier this week, Marvel Zombies update, something you and I are big fans of, both in the comics and from What If. It will be 4 episodes long, and the series releases in 2024, which was kind of expected, and it's rated TV mature audiences.
What?
You heard me correct. TVMA Marvel, baby.
That's the kicker. Like, what? What did you say?
So excited. I can't wait for that. It's going to be so freaking electric.
Dude, I can't wait for that either. That's just nuts to think about that's going to be a thing.
4 episodes tells me, too, it might be a little bit longer than like a half hour.
I am here for that, sir.
Unfortunately, this week we also had some big-time sad news as a legend in his own right and an iconic actor across the board. Robbie Coltrane, best known as portraying Rubius Hagrid in the Harry Potter films, has passed away at age 72. I think the quote from the Harry Potter Return to Hogwarts special that came out on New Year's Day this year on HBO Max, the quote has that much more meaning now, where Robbie Coltrane said, "The legacy of the movies is that my children's generation will show them to their children, so you could be watching it in 50 years' time, easy. I'll not be here, sadly, but Hagrid will, yes." And, he tears up during it. Robbie Coltrane's a big part of our generation's childhood. Like, Hagrid was such an iconic character in those movies. He's a lovable character. It's somebody everybody could kind of, get behind and relate to in the Harry Potter films.
He's also in a James Bond film. Don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from the relatability context of the character that is Hagrid, it sucks, that such an iconic actor, gone far too soon at the age of 72, left an imprint on the 90s babies for life, and it sucks that he's no longer with us.
That's exactly why you have to just enjoy the actors with the time you get in terms of watching their products, because you just never know. Enjoy life for that matter, for anyone listening as well, because you just don't know. You know what I mean? And it's at least cool and beautiful in the way that you worded it, because at least with actors, if they're in iconic roles, they do live on forever. And in a world like Harry Potter with such devoted fans and more movies coming out and rides and theme parks and what have you, the actor will live on forever.
I thought it was pretty cool at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Florida, the Train to Hogwarts ride. When you pass by Hagrid's house, the staff put flowers by Hagrid, which I thought was a really cool touch by the staff down there in Orlando. Daniel Radcliffe had a quote too on Robbie Coltrane saying, "Robbie was one of the funniest people I've met and used to keep us laughing constantly as kids on the set. I feel incredibly lucky that I got to meet and work with him. He was an incredible actor and a lovely man."
Well said.
Switching to a bit of a lighter note here.
I was gonna say, with sorrow comes good times, right?
Dylan, you're a big Lord of the Rings guy. Obviously, we haven't talked about the Rings of Power on this show just because it came at a time that was so flooded with content that it got pushed to the back burner. But the showrunners say that Sauron will be like Walter White in Season 2. He's evil, but complexly evil.
I like that. I'm going to watch it because I'm a fan of the lore, and I just haven't gotten around to it, folks. I did watch 2 episodes, but like Kyle said, we were running through a gauntlet, and now the gauntlet's getting a little lighter. We have most of the Infinity Stones right now, so bear with us.
This will be cool, and we might have to get the Get in the Hole guys on here if we talk about it. Jonah Hill will play John Daly in an upcoming biopic.
Really?
And Jonah Hill will also produce the film. I think that's flawless casting.
That is interesting.
I like that a lot. Cartoon Network put out a statement this week as well saying, "Y'all, we're not dead. To our fans, we're not going anywhere. We have been and will always be your home for beloved, innovative cartoons." A lot of people, when it was announced that Cartoon Network Studios was shutting down, thought that the television channel
from us.
Thought that the actual TV station and channel was going away and Cartoon Network was disappearing. No, the studio that produces that incredible content is now merging with Warner Brothers Studios.
That's what I thought too, and I saw people tweeting about that. I was like, no.
Next up on our docket here, IMDb ratings for recent Star Wars series, Dylan, which is obviously The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Andor.
Andor has to be the highest one. I know that for a fact.
Andor is the highest at an 8.1 out of 10. Book of Boba Fett clocked in at 7.3 out of 10. And Obi-Wan Kenobi in last at a 7.1 out of 10.
I would change the Obi to the Boba, but yeah, I agree.
Next up on the list here, this will be a movie Dylan watches because we'll be watching the follow-up movie to it. Knives Out, Rian Johnson reveals that Benoit Blanc, who is Daniel Craig's character, he's gay.
Cool.
Big fan.
Still need to watch the first one, like you said.
And next on the list,
Kyle's gonna have to literally handcuff me to a chair or something for me to watch. I just keep evading it for some reason.
She will be performing at halftime of the Super Bowl in February, and apparently Rihanna is reportedly recording the end credit song for Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Before you said her name, I was going to make a joke and say, so not Taylor Swift.
Some positive Rotten Tomatoes ratings here, Dylan. Last week we mentioned a show that had a 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Yeah. Well, I've got another 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating on a much lower scale, only on 8 reviews, but Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio movie debuted at a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I saw that. I saw it was doing really well traction-wise. Excuse me.
So congrats to Guillermo. Dylan, I do have some Netflix updates, a little bit more of the business and like tech side of the streaming news. This comes from Unilad. Apparently, Netflix is going to start charging for quote-unquote extra users on accounts. Sneaked away in Netflix's quarterly earnings report on Tuesday came new information about what it calls, quote, a thoughtful approach to monetize account sharing. The scheme has been trialed in Latin America and will be rolled out globally in early 2023. In short, they intend to charge account holders for having users from outside their household on their account.
What the hell? Why?
Netflix,
see me outside. Catch me outside.
After a slowdown in growth, Netflix will soon target account shares with extra charges. Charges expected to be around, this is in European money-wise, €2 per month per extra user, which is still much cheaper than a separate account. They also said...
So can you not have, can you not have more users, but what if they're all in the same house?
You won't get charged then. But if they find out that you're sharing an account with somebody that doesn't live in your house,
yeah,
I guess they're going to track it by the IP address. They'll charge your account cents extra.
Bullshit.
Agreed. I think it's dumb.
You're telling me Mima can't use my Netflix?
Mima can't watch the Stranger Things?
She'll never know what happens.
On a more positive note here, though, via the Hollywood Reporter, something we have been calling for since Peacemaker, Dylan, James Gunn is reportedly developing a new mystery DC film. He will focus on Peacemaker Season 2, though, and it's possible there could be multiple DC films in development from James Gunn.
Let's go.
Hype.
Understatement, my boy.
Next up on the docket here for everybody, Matt Reeves is this is updates Dylan likes to hear. Matt Reeves is planning the Batman spin-off movies and series focused on Batman's rogue gallery. Characters mentioned: Scarecrow,
Ayo,
Clayface,
Ayo,
and Professor Pig.
Ayo. That's a weird dynamic because 2 of them are mainstream and the other one's not so mainstream. But that's awesome nonetheless, dude.
All of those projects are in the early phases too.
For all you naysayers, we did it. We brought Matt Reeves' verse back, baby.
Next up, Dylan. This is a long-running thing. Us and New Rockstars really are on this. Hit the fire. Let's go to the underworld. Mephisto watch.
Gary Oldman?
According to so this report came out from, at first, kind of a hit or miss Twitter account that gives Marvel updates, but then Deadline ran with the story. And if Deadline is going to run with this and the way that they wrote it in the article, you know that they've got a source on the inside that is very reliable.
Yeah.
There have been talks on set of Ironheart, which makes me very happy because you all know I'm a big Ironheart stan and I'm loving the cast so far already. That Mephisto could be in Ironheart, portrayed by one Sacha Baron Cohen.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Sign us the fuck up. Mephisto rumors. Mephisto watch is back on, everybody. Get the goggles on. Get your red colored demon goggles on. It's demon time. Mephisto is coming.
Very nice. Very nice.
I also saw a video from, I think it was either Eric Voss or Mastertainment MT on New Rockstars that said, I thought I saw Mephisto before, and it was the scene in Borat 2 when Rudy Giuliani's on his back.
Oh, shit, dog.
Netflix also says, Dylan, that it is committed to binge releases. They will not switch to weekly releases.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. But Mephisto Watch is on, so everybody in the comment section on YouTube, hashtag Mephisto
I just
Watch.
like to be problematic.
Speaking of problematic, DC, Black Adam debuts at 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is not doing well with the critics, Dylan.
I've read that, and I kind of don't want to see it, but I kind of want to see it to see how bad it is. But then the problem of seeing something to see how bad it is, you know...
It's bad.
watching a really bad movie.
My dad made a great point about it. It looks practically cool, but he wishes they would have cast somebody other than The Rock. And not that anything is wrong with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's fantastic. But when you're watching these trailers and these TV commercials, it just looks like The Rock dressed up as Black Adam.
This is a Halloween costume.
Like, that, I think that's the tough part optically.
Yeah, that's a good point. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
And speaking of DC, Walter Hamada is officially no longer the president of DC Films.
Yeah, I saw that. Did they name who is, or they haven't named a new one yet?
I have not, but the funniest meme I saw was me to David Zaslav for getting rid of Walter Hamada, and it is a comic, and it's a white kid getting hugged by a bunch of black guys saying, "You alright, white boy."
I love that.
Oh man. Next on the docket here for everybody, we mentioned this earlier. Sarah Hess has extended her deal with HBO and will stay on to produce and write for House of the Dragon season 2. The Safdie brothers' upcoming film, Dylan, starring Adam Sandler, is reportedly set in the world of high-end card collecting. It's currently in development at Netflix.
Concept for a film.
I mean, the Adam Sandler Netflix movies have been big time so far.
Hustle was really good. I enjoyed that.
Hustle, you got Uncut Gems.
Uncle John.
Uncut Gems.
He's having a career resurgence as making more serious films of late.
100%. Looking here still. I know there was something else I had saved for our breakdown here that I didn't want to miss. Oh, did you see the Creed 3 trailer?
Yeah. B. Jordan's first directorial debut, right?
That it will be, and our boy Jonathan Majors is in that movie, as is Canelo Alvarez.
Jonathan Majors is fucking yoked. If you haven't seen him recently, go look at his pictures. Dude, the Avengers are all dying. Kang clearly beat them up with his hands.
Yeah. And then we've got some local streaming platform multiverse news and notes. First things first. Well, before I get into the news about me, we had Ant-Man posing with one Isaiah Pacheco, Vineland, New Jersey native's jersey this week with Peter Schrager. Paul Rudd, Isaiah Pacheco fan.
Full circle moment for the pod. And for
crazy.
Fans.
Absolutely insane. I have no idea what the context was. I just know he was with Peter Schrager, and it looked like they were recording a podcast.
I think the only thing I know is that Schrager actually predicted Isaiah to be like a sleeper earlier on, so maybe maybe Shregs got Paul that jersey knowing he's a Chiefs fan. I don't know. Either way, nonetheless, now Paul Rudd has a gosh darn Isaiah Pacheco jersey in his
Absolutely
closet.
insane. Like, that is crazy. When I saw that picture, my jaw hit the ground. I said, Ant-Man loves Isaiah. That was really cool for Dylan and I, Isaiah being from our hometown. And then this week, Sarah and I, on Tuesday, got the opportunity to go up north to North Jersey, and we met Tom Felton, a.k.a. Draco Malfoy, for his book signing. And Dylan, I am not someone who frequently reads books. It has to catch my attention to really dive into it.
You can read.
I'm gonna. Good pull. I'm gonna definitely read this book. It looks super entertaining. It's all about growing up a wizard, his battles with alcoholism later on in life, and I gotta say, you have hit or miss stories with celebrities at book signings and at public events. Tom Felton was one of the nicest, coolest, down-to-earth humans I have ever met.
Did you guys talk about anything? Did you ask me anything in particular? Did you say hi?
So Sarah had a very cool sweatshirt that she got from Etsy that said, Potta on it, spelled Pottah, and he told her he even spelled it correctly, and he said the line, and she freaked. And then I also fed into, Sarah being the biggest Harry Potter fan on the planet, if you don't know my sister. Sarah has also been in a movie before. My sister has an IMDb page. She was an extra when she was living in Ohio a couple of years ago for the summer, in a movie with one James Phelps, who is one of the Weasley twins. So I let Tom Felton know that he and my sister have both starred in movies with James Phelps.
How'd that go over?
And he said, he looked over at her and she was like smiling, and he said, I didn't know that.
That's awesome.
He was super cool. I was telling Dylan before we started recording, there was somebody with either like a therapy dog or, they had a dog with them. And Tom's a big dog guy, and he posed with the book, with the dog alone for a picture, was playing with the dog. It was super cool. He spoke with every single person that was there, took a picture with every single person. It was a really cool experience because somebody of that nature and stature that Tom Felton is, again, the Harry Potter, cinematic universe is something that, late 80s, early 90s, all the way through the 90s kids grew up with, and like those people are like larger than life, and for him to be as down to earth, cool, nice, personable was a really cool thing, and it made me an even bigger fan of him than I already was. And I don't know. I think he's making music now too, but I'd love to see Tom Felton in some more movies and stuff because I think he's a fantastic actor.
I actually just saw him in a movie. This is the craziest part. As a war movie on Netflix. I think it was called The Forgotten Battle or Forgotten War, and he played a British glider pilot. And it was pretty interesting because it was weird seeing him in a war film. Because his character in Harry Potter is annoying.
The Forgotten Battle.
Thank you, sir. His character in Harry Potter is not much of a hero, so it's weird seeing him flip the script. I agree with you. I would like to see him in more films. I'm happy that he's a nice guy. That's great. And you're right, because he's not a Harrison Ford in terms of he's been in a bunch of things, but he starred as an iconic character in an iconic franchise. And literally anyone who's watched that series, like you just said, our age group knows the line Potter, and you know his face. He looks very he doesn't look different. You can very much tell it's the same little boy many years ago who played Draco Malfoy.
And he's still young. He's only 35.
Oh no,
he's not that much. I'm saying for him to be in more stuff, it's not like he's ancient. You know what I'm saying? He's in his prime. He's not that much older than me. But yeah, this is not an ad, but I would love for Tom to come on the pod and talk about the book and talk about, acting and music and everything. The book is called Beyond the Wand, The Magic and Mayhem of Growing Up a Wizard. It's out now everywhere. Free plug for the book because it looks super entertaining, and I can't wait to dive into it.
Come on the pod, Tom. I'm also in. I have an acting credit, not IMDb, but I was in the commercial, so you know.
Yeah, I would love to have Tom on the show, and maybe we gotta just snoop around and see a way to figure out if we can get him on to do a little mini press for his book. But yeah, it's Beyond the Wand: The Magic of Mayhem and Growing Up a Wizard. And once I dive through it and read everything, I'll definitely review it here on the pod. I'm sure Sarah's already almost done reading it, the way that she speeds through books. But it was a really cool experience, and that's my second celebrity book signing I've attended as well.
Another one.
At our alma mater, Glassboro book, Barnes & Noble, I went to Snooki's book signing.
That's crazy.
Again, another very down-to-earth, very nice.
I actually heard off camera.
She's great.
She's a very nice human being.
So yeah, Snooki and Tom Felton are the two celebrities that I have met at book signings, and both very awesome experiences, and super cool to meet a rock star like Tom Felton. So shout out to Tom Felton for a fantastic appearance. The Barnes & Noble we were at too was huge, dude. It was 2.5 times the one at Rowan.
That's awesome.
They had it was upstairs, and then they had its own event center type thing. And they had posters up in the event center of people who had been there. Guy Fieri, the actor who plays Kimmy Gibbler, did a book signing there. Cory Booker, a whole bunch of people. It was wild. I was like, holy shit.
They had some legit. Yeah, they had some big old.
They had some people there.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Tom Felton, and maybe we'll get him on the pod. That'd be pretty cool stuff. But that's all we got for you guys this week. Next week we'll be back with House of the Dragon finale, Andor episode 8, Dylan's review of Werewolf by Night, and anything else that might pop up in the streaming platform multiverse. Whether we watch something, news and notes, it will be our spooky season edition, so maybe we'll have some fun stuff in the works there as well. But make sure you guys are following us at StreamerSZN on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Dylan at Dylan Mazzola. Follow me at KBIZZL311.
Leave those reviews, people.
Subscribe to the podcast feed. Apple, Spotify. Leave the reviews, recommendations, thoughts on all the shows we're watching as well. But we will read the reviews, and we will take your recommendations. So leave those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you get full video episodes of Streamer Season. And subscribe. We're on that road to 1K Gauntlet Challenge, currently at 256 subscribers. And once we get to 300, I'll buy that Iron Throne Funko Pop. And once we get to 1,000, I'm watching Season 1 of Game of Thrones. Dylan's cosplaying as a character from a movie or show we have watched, voted on by all of you. And you got to subscribe to make that happen. Smash that like button, ring the bell icon, comment down below your thoughts on House of the Dragon Episode 9, Andor Episode 7, Werewolf by Night, or anything we talked about in the news and notes section. Who's the most famous person you've met at a book signing? Leave that in the comment section as well. Big thank you to our sponsors, PHI Apparel Co. That's where all of our merch will be in the very near future. You guys go show them some love. They're our new partner for all of our merch that will be coming from Streamer Season. Tomahawk Shades, Kenwood Beer, Beano Board, Pickup, all of their info and links and promo codes will be in the show notes on audio and in the description on YouTube. Also, Dylan, in 2 weeks, we got a big milestone on the show. It's episode 100 in 2 weeks.
Dude, that's crazy to think how far we've come on this.
It's nuts. So we'll have to do something big for episode 100 as well. Let us know in the comment section or in the podcast reviews as well what we should watch or review for episode 100. But this has been another episode of Streamer Season, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Dylan, I'm KB, and until next week, we're going to go ride a dragon in a galaxy far, far away in black and white. We'll see you guys